Hello everybody, welcome back downstairs into my little dungeon garden where, as you can hear, I've turned on yet another pump. Of course the furnace is going too, so we've got a million different bits of background noise right now. I decided I should probably test out that 400 gallon per hour Laguna pump that I've had kicking around for so long. I mean, I was pretty sure it was going to work, but not entirely positive. And it's kind of providing me a really quick way to clean up the solids out of the bottom of that fish tank. So I guess this week's look around the dungeon gardens probably going to start with the fish. You can't really tell if they're even in there right now, but they are. The water's gotten a little bit murky, so I'm going to do basically some daily changes out of there. But they do seem to be still alive and well. I haven't found any floaters yet. As you can see, my super quick version of solids collection here in place. Does seem to be working though. It's picked up a lot of filth from the bottom, but that's an awful lot of suction at the bottom of such a small tote, so it should do that job fairly well. I wanted to make sure that pump worked though, because with this tote the little one's fine. However, when I get this bathtub sized thing repaired again, yeah, I'm going to need a slightly bigger pump, and I kind of want to draw, so I've got a nice constant river current going in here. More exercise for them means they grow faster. Everybody wins, really. So moving on to the rest of the dungeon then. For the 2018 starts, you can see I've still got quite a few captive in the mini tray, but some nice looking pepper starts in here. What is this? This is one of the ahi panics. Nice broad leaves, seems to be surviving fairly well. I think this might be a matchbox or a super chili there. So things are looking promising. So far, 2 of the transplants that went into those water bottles are looking strong. Unfortunately, the others died because I forgot to come down here and water them, and they didn't have quite enough moisture to begin with. That being said, I've just put another paper lantern into this one today. I'm keeping a better eye on it. Transplanted a couple of sad looking sweet mini bells. I'm really hoping they'll recover. Just gonna have to wait and see. That's a paper lantern right there, also looking kind of sad. Still don't have anything sprouting from those last 5 seed varieties. I think I might just have to call it quits on those. That said, there's still quite a few varieties already sprouted up here, and I've still got plenty of time before anything goes outside, so. Alright, turning in the circle, we've got that Euro grower here. As you can see, I've kind of tucked the elderberry underneath the light here. I didn't have anything growing in that spot anyway, so. The catmint seems to be adapting quite nicely. Must have roots in there by now because it's clearly growing a fair bit for me there. Got that other mint in the back there. A lot of new growth on that, so it's clearly rooted. Not quite sure what's going on with this one. I'll give it a little more time. It's not looking too good there though, not looking too good. Speaking of not looking great, we have the ahi panic. I'm hoping this will perk up a little bit as I start to put some fish water into this system. Down here, I just couldn't help myself. Stuck one of the sweet basil transplants into there and hasn't died off yet. The pak choi I put in there died off though. Brought Miles the turtle in because he's just aquaponic mascot. A couple of spider plants over there. As the camera gets used to this strange light spectrum here, we're looking at the sage. Hasn't grown back too quickly since its last little haircut, but I can see the beginnings of the growth coming in there. Again, I think this will do really well once it starts to get some fish water into it. Sage did really well in the aquaponic gardens I had before. We can see this yellow scorpion, the best growth, happiest anyway, is still down at the bottom. I'm not entirely sure that this Mars Hydrolite and pepper plants is a good combo, at least not for me. Here's that El Oro de Ecuador, still technically hanging on to life, but it's about the best I can say for it. The mint down at the bottom there seems to be doing alright though. Not sure it's keeping all the aphids away, but it almost looks like it might be keeping some of them away, so I'm willing to accept that at this point. Beside it here we've got the Sugar Rush Red looking very, very sad. I don't know. I just don't know about these spunky LEDs. I like the idea of the technology as compared to I dislike the mercury in fluorescent lights, but oh, I don't know. Plants sure seem a lot happier under them. So I may have no choice but to deal with fluorescence. Anyway, speaking of LEDs, over here on the table, the pitcher plant is, well, some of it's looking very, very sad, but other parts of it seem to be responding fairly well to the light. It might just be too late for this branch. I think this is some of the original growth anyway. The ginger plant here doing its weird little crooked corners. While the peppers don't necessarily seem to respond well to this spectrum of light, the herbs really do. I mean, the mint is just going insane under this. That cat mint is going just crazy. All the little mint cuttings everywhere seem to be doing just fine. So oregano has definitely bounced back. Much happier under this than it is under the fluorescent. So I mean, it's not like these lights were a waste of money. They're just not going to work out for peppers the way I was hoping. So with this, I'm hoping that if it grows up underneath this light, it'll be a proper happy, healthy plant under it, and it won't die off like everything else did. Basically, these plants all grew in natural sunlight, so bringing them into artificial light's already kind of a hit or miss thing for me. But I want to be able to grow something from start to finish under these lights, and yeah, might just be herbs. I'm hoping I can get away with peppers. I just don't know. Here is our test. Let's all hope for the best for that guy. Now underneath those little stick-em-on strip LEDs, these plants, for some reason, I don't know, the air just seems to dry things out so much faster here. I've lost a lot of the purple basil. This is the only one really that remains. I've transplanted a few of these green basil out to a couple of different places. We'll see how they do. The pak choi is bait at this point, pretty much. It's taking a hit pretty hard. It's all pretty much dead. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with it. Probably going to hit it into the compost pretty soon. But ultimately, these LEDs, the plants seem to react much better to them than the really expensive ones. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what to think about that at the moment, to be perfectly honest. Looks like we might have some nice basil this year though. So yeah, not a whole lot changing right now underneath these assorted lights down here in the dungeon. Mostly I'm just fiddling with the fish, trying to fine tune things, trying to get to a point where, well, I'm happy with the way it looks. Yeah, the rest of the video therefore is going to be fiddling with my aquaponic garden and trying to tune up that fish tank. If you're still interested, hey, stick around. If not, thanks for watching up to this point. And yeah, carrying on then. While this is still a temporary situation, I'm not entirely happy with how much space is being taken up by my stack of Folgers containers here. I grabbed a hot chicken wings thing that we grabbed from the co-op and drilled a whole mess load of holes at the bottom, a couple in a row in the front, and I'm thinking I'm going to transfer the clay, and I think there's some lava rocks in there, into the chicken bucket, and we're going to use that for filtration so that the fish can have more room to swim around at the bottom. And yeah, next clip will be finding out if that worked out or not. Well, after what felt like hours of picking through that, and taking the crumbled up bits of clay pellets, which tragically was the greater percentage, tossing them on the soil here, and then finally getting them into the bucket. This is what we got. Little basil's in there. I've got that little mint sprig in there. Hopefully, you know, they'll stay alive. We'll see. The tank water's not looking good, but it never does when you make big changes. At least, you know, I can see the fish. Camera's not really picking them up very well. But they've got more room to swim around. Got the pump on the far side of it now. At least it's going that way, creating a basic current. Things are already improving. Now if I can get some water clarity going on, that would be fantastic. Well, I don't imagine the basil's going to like that much, but catch some fine matter that way. Speed up the cleanup process a bit, I hope. I hope. Alright, well, I'm just going to be down here fiddling with the fish tank for the next few hours anyway, so I might as well wrap it up here. Not going to be a lot to see, and if I show you everything, there won't be any point in another update, right? So, yeah, tomorrow, tomorrow I was going to do something on the cooking channel, but I have an interesting situation that's kind of sort of popped up in my life, so tune in tomorrow here on the JT Bear channel, and we'll discuss that. I would love to hear your comments on it, so yeah, tomorrow's going to be an interesting video. Stick around. Anyway, I will see you then. Take care, everybody. Well, for any of you who have stuck around to this point, the water hasn't cleared up all that much, but you can see with rearranging things and giving it a little bit of time, fish are fairly playful in there. Seem to be chasing at those few bits of food. I think I'm going to like this setup a lot better than the Folgers cans. So, yay! And thanks for sticking around. Just got to clean up that water a little bit. It's almost like old times. Don't worry about that. That was a spill from me earlier, not from the tote.